Good afternoon. You're listening to the Mother's Justice Show on 11:50 a.m. KKNW. I'm your host, Reverend Walden. It's my joy to be on the air. We in the spring right now. I mean, it don't feel like it outside, but when you look at the little bright green out there, and all of the fresh flowers and all of that, we know that spring in this latitude has sprung, but the weather will probably catch up a little later. I don't know. I am planning the trip up to Mount Vernon, and I hope that you all have been up to see the beautiful tulips. It will really enhance your life to go see that exquisite beauty. Exquisite beauty can help change the world also, and so we need to see beauty often so it can renew our spirits because of what all we're doing here in the world. But I just mention before my guest comes on, I want to mention about the survey, because the survey, the 2023 Alternative Talk 150 listener survey is going on right now from the 27th of March to April 23rd. All right, so we got another week of this. So please go to 11:50 a.m. or go to 11:50 a.m. I'm sorry, let me start over. Go to 11:50 www.1150kknw.com and click there on the image of the 2023 listeners survey area near the top of the page, and give your just take the survey and answer the questions about the programs that you like or what you would like to see, so you can help shape the future and get your voice heard that way. Also, just for simply filling that out at the survey at the www.1150kknw.com, and you can actually you can fill in that survey, and guess what? You could win a trip to Victoria, on the Victoria Clipper to Victoria, Canada, BC. It's a beautiful town. I've been there many times. Plus a gift certificate for the $100 gift certificate to Famous Dave Restaurant. Check that out. Okay, please do that. And if Mother's is one of your favorite ones, please say that. Thank you so much on that piece. Also, we have a podcast, and so if you want your friends to know about this, that you enjoyed listening to it, and you want to listen to Mother's again, well, then you can go to the website there, and you can check out our podcast. I'm excited about that. So spring is here, and my guest should come on about 2:05 here. And it's going to be Chief Diaz is going to be my guest on Mother's show today. So I'm excited about that, and look like he's here now. So I'm going to just go ahead and bring the Chief on and just say, "Hey, Chief, how you doing? You want to unmute
Hello,
yourself?"
how are you doing, Reverend Walden?
Oh, hi. Yeah, I'm good. It's like, so we've had an interview for we were at at headquarters doing a video about that, answering questions, and now you're here on. This is your first time on my show, right? Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
I think so, yes.
It is. Yeah, it is. So, hey, this is good. So I know that you're busy, and I thank you for carving out a little time for me. On Mondays, it's always a busy day for you because I have so much of going on over the weekend. I mean, just a variety of things, and most of them kept the officers hopping.
It has been a busy time, but we're getting through it. Obviously, there's crime it never stops. So.
No, it never stops. But here, before we start talking about what they asked me to come on about this wonderful program, and for clear transparency, I've been part of the Before the Badge program. I always want to let my listeners know, that I've been a part of something, whether it's a family member or if it's with the chief, a part of something. But I just want you to just mentally talk about all that you've taken. I mean, about fentanyl. I mean, and I think you've had a lot of weapons that you were able to. I don't know how you get them, but it sure was a lot of them. So you want to just talk about some of the things that's been going on as it relates to regular policing, but all the other stuff that the suicide is high with this with fentanyl. Bless its heart. I mean, it's like it's just harming people in so many ways. So I wanted to give you an opportunity to talk about that.
Yeah. So as we look at crime, we've actually over last year was a really high year of criminal activity, and the first 5 months really were big jump in the amount of crime stats that we experienced compared to the previous years. And and really a lot of it was kind of stemmed around homelessness. And mayors had just come into office and was working on the unified care, setting up the unified care team. And that actually, by working on trying to get people into services, getting people into housing, getting people connected to those, it allowed us to also focus on really large scale operations, stuff that's associated with fentanyl, associated with narcotics, guns, and that's what we've been focused on. So last year we actually recovered the second most amount of firearms on record that we've been able to do, that we were able to do. But just this year, in the month of March, which is what I have stats for, it's the highest amount of guns we recovered ever, just in 1 month. It was 169 guns just this month of March. And so, while we are seeing crime, violent crime trend downward, and we're down about 24% for the year, which is it's good, but we're actually still seeing, at the end of the day, we're still seeing people shoot each other. We're still seeing victims. We're still seeing, our loved ones being harmed and impacted by violence. And so it's so important for our officers to go out and recover the guns that are doing that harm. And this year alone, we've already covered over 1 million pills in fentanyl. And we know that overdose deaths rates are up. We know that it's impacted King County. And so it's important that our personnel are committed to making sure that we take these dangerous drugs off the streets as well. And so these are all part of our overall plan to try and make our community safe. We're trying to, work on getting the downtown, safe, and trying to make sure that those areas are for people to feel, safe and clear coming downtown and shopping. But we also need to make all of our communities safe. And so these are some of the work that we're doing: retail theft, motor vehicle theft operations, fentanyl and drug operations, as well as trying to make sure that we get guns off the street.
Well, it's it really is a lot, and then I know that I know that a young man is in custody for the shooting of Elijah Lewis a couple of weeks ago. I mean, and that's something that really hit our community hard. I mean, it's like, wow. This just came to my mind because sometimes I'm spontaneous, but I believe it's time for the city to partner with mothers or other people to do some public service announcement. I think we need to do some public service announcement about fentanyl. I really do. I mean, it just coming through right now. I mean, and sometimes when you get inspiration, I mean, it's just time to do something. To run some public service announcements to parents and I mean, 30-second spots. I mean, we can also maybe talk about putting something here on this station, even on the radio station. I mean, I'm sure Eric, our studio manager, I mean, our manager here would be really, and I know C-Spot would be willing to do something. I just know that sometimes you just have to say out of the bag, and that came out of the bag because I wasn't thinking about this, you weren't thinking about that, but it came out of a good bag.
Well, you're 100% right. The mayor, I literally just came out of a press conference right now. The mayor's office had done an executive order on fentanyl. We know that one pill can kill, and when you recover over the last 3 years, we probably recovered close to 4 million pills. So you can just imagine how much this entire city would have been impacted, but the state, enough to kill this entire state, really. And
wow.
So we really have to, figure out how we're actually trying to reduce the demand. That's really the big challenge. If people are using it, like, you got to reduce that demand. So
you got to reduce the demand, but we got to also look at sorrow and despair and all these other reasons, but also children's curiosity. You're not going to get rid of kids' curiosity. I mean, I think a child died somewhere in another county, but just curious. I mean, picked it up something. I guess their parents was involved with some whatever, and the child died by ingesting that. So it really is a big thing. But you know what? I'd like to continue this point with you at a later date, but I wanted to just go ahead now and maybe we'll just shift gears. And there's something that really is we're not going to leave you hanging out there, listeners. We're going to come back to this at another time about what we can do about public service announcements. So we're going to come back to that. We're going to put it on the parking lot, but not for long.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So I wanted you to just, I mean, you're real proud of this program. And you know what I'm proud about you, ST? I mean, when you were entering, you got busy. A lot of times when people are interim, they just enter. Well, you got busy. Okay, and that busyness said, I'm going to create a program. I'm going to create something that has value and can actually enhance incoming officers and the community. And so you want to talk about the program. I think I'm really I'm excited about it because I've just been to a few of them. I'm not there often. I just come like once a month. But you want to just this is your show.
Yeah.
This is your time.
Yeah, so I during my career, I spent a lot of work on youth violence prevention, and I talked with families, talked with kids to try and get them on the right path, to help them thrive and help them be successful. But also, I was talking to a lot of the different social services that were, experiencing, just the despair that sometimes our families feel, and so, and I was also talking to police departments across not just the U.S., but I'm talking about international. And you start talking about London, you start talking about Netherlands and Scotland or Ireland, and you talk about a variety of different other countries. Their academies are 1 year to 3 years long, and many of those countries never give their officers a gun. And we in the States, our academy is 4.5 to 5 months, and we give them a gun hoping that we're going to have a better outcome. And that hoping that we're going to have a better interaction with community. And we're not giving the skills to actually teach and have a conversation with community, to understand the trauma that happens in a community. I had 4,000 rounds being fired last year alone in the city of Seattle. That's a lot of trauma in the community. Oh my
goodness, that's wild.
And so, and you think about, the deaths of whether it's fentanyl overdoses or whether it's gun violence or whether, and I want our officers to understand what, those conversations, to talk with the families that have been impacted by gun violence, to talk about to people that have been formerly incarcerated, that the last time that they might have talked to a police officer is when that officer was arresting them. That, to talk to the African-American community, the LGBTQ community, to understand what trauma is in those communities. And so it was important that I took all that experience that I had over the years and really tried to give our direction for our training unit and our personnel to kind of build a program that would just incorporate community into it, to be able to start saying, look, we value relationships and that we need our officers to have that interaction. So we actually this program brings all new recruits in 6 weeks prior to the academy. And it gives an extension of the academy to have these conversations, to have these dialogues. But we also include social emotional learning. We include brain development, because we know that the youth that they're going to interact, their brains aren't fully developed. And we want them to understand that, to have, to understand how they can actually de-escalate a situation. We've almost gone 1 year without an officer involved shooting.
Yeah.
And I think that's just one of those markers that you're really, I don't want to highlight it too much because I'm always afraid that the next day it happens. Right. But I feel like we're turning this corner of, we're being more responsive to community needs. We're trying to understand that dynamic. We've actually been launching this since May of last year. So we launched our first cohort in May. I think we've done about 20 cohorts. We're training every personnel that comes in that wants to be a police officer, including our CSOs. So it's not just our police officers that are going through the training, but CSOs. And then we're training, there are components of this that we're training for all of our personnel. So growth and outward mindset. So we're taking classes that this group is getting and actually making sure that all of our department is actually being trained in it.
Wow. Well, I mean, that really is something, the CSOs. And I know that the other day there was a training and I saw on Facebook that Ms. Dawson was there talking about her experience. And and a young guy, officer, cadet, um, knew her son, went to school
Yeah.
with her son, Mrs. Dawson, son was killed a couple of years ago on Mother's Day, not by a police shooting, but by someone in the community, and he just died in her arms on Mother's Day, and that's a tragedy. It's a double tragedy right there. So anyway, I think that I haven't talked to her, but I can see her face that was rewarding for her to see somebody going to be a police officer that had went to school with her son. So yeah.
Yeah, and I know even with Elijah, Connor, Alicia's son knew them. They went, they hung out together, and it just it brings the full circle, just the impact that one death in a community can have
Definitely. Yes.
in that
No.
experience. I actually have been I talk with the families and mothers that have been impacted by gun violence, and I'm trying to take all of that information and really just it's we will have a better society if we humanize each other.
That's right.
And
That's right.
I know that if I can make sure that our officers understand the community and the
That's right.
humanization of that, and the community can understand even the officers, so they understand their perspective and their experience, that at the end of the day, that we all want to make sure that our community is safe, and
That's right.
that we're working towards that goal. And I think that in the end, I think this is where that program helps build that. It's not
Right.
the end all for our what we're trying to build. I'm already looking at what the expansion looks like for our in-service. I'm looking at our expansion for what it looks like for our sergeants, lieutenants, and captains. Like developing a mentorship program with community members, mentoring, some of our leaders in our department. And I think all of that will really just help us really be more connected with community. And I think that's our goal.
Well, I really appreciate that. And I hope, man, you remember, were you around when they had the young people, what was the young people that's interested in policing called? They might have been still in high school, but it was a program. I don't recall what the
The
Explorer
Explorers.
program. Okay. And I think that program is no longer around, right?
No, it actually is. We, have actually, we actually have a smaller group of youth that are involved with it. Because of the COVID pandemic, we weren't able to do a lot of in-person meetings. So a program that we were once around 40 or 50 youth is much smaller now, but we're hoping to expand that out. So if you know of youth that are a part of that, you can actually Google Seattle Police Explorers, and there's information and contact information. But we would love to expand that program. And we really have a good, diverse group of youth that have been involved, but it's much smaller than it was once before.
Right. Well, I know that it takes a lot to build to get to where we were in police, because I know the charter says that every sector is supposed to have adequate police protection at all times. That is part of the charter, although I think some of the people in the city didn't realize that, because when you want to do what happened in 2020, you adversely affect the communities that's already suffering. I mean, because then that gives people an opportunity. Opportunity. And one of the things that mothers always say, that people shoot people in the daytime because they know they're not going to get arrested. Yeah. I mean, and that's why, we have always supported cameras in a high profile area with a sunset date. Yeah. I mean, because if you can make some arrest in some of this community violence, then I think we could have some change of heart. But also get to really dealing with number one, guns. People always talk about gun control and all of that. But I think when you pick up a gun, you just actually picking it up to harm somebody. And I know that you have what is when you're trying to save your own life and somebody's coming after you.
Self-defense.
Also think that, self-defense. But I also think that if you could just pause before you pull that trigger, because once you pull that trigger, your life is forever altered. Even if you don't get away, I mean, even if you run away and you stay hidden forever, then eventually time catches up on you. But I also think police officers are affected too. I really do. Yeah. I mean, I think police officers, although they might come out to be an impulsive shooting, I don't think you can take a life of somebody else and not be impacted by that. I think it has a spiritual. I think it registers someplace on the subconscious mind, because you've, we can rationalize all the reason why, but we've done something that in all the great texts of the book says, all the great texts of the world said, "I shall not kill." And those kinds of things. But I'm really excited about the program, and I must say, I probably will be there this Wednesday. I think I usually come the last Wednesday of the month down at the Pastor Harvey Drake's church. So,
Okay.
What I do, how I participate is I tell what my experience is. And I always, my experience with policing is different. I got into this work about what happened with my children and other people's children, not what happened to me personally. But it was personal in a way because it was my children. But a lot of people have a direct incident that they can point to personally, and it happened to their personhood. But I don't have that one. But I think it's a good program, and I hope that other people around the country is looking at the program, because I really think it's a good program. I really do it. And I'd like to acknowledge you and your love for policing. Because you decided to come up with something new. Because we can't keep going forward on what's old. Although I'm in part of that elderly crowd right now, but. But the new ways of doing things and be able to talk to people, because it is a heart to heart, in order to change the world, we have to change it through our heart, not through our head. To change the world is a heart condition, and that's the way I think the only way we can change it is how we could communicate with people and see us not as the other, but as our brother. We can get to a place where we see each other not as the other, and something that's foreign from another planet, but part of the family of man. We get there. So I really appreciate it.
I really thank you. And honestly, thank you for the support. Thank you for just having the difficult conversations, because at the end of the day, I want to make sure our officers are getting something out of it. They can experience to understand the trauma that a community might have, but also the healing process that actually does happen as well. And, I think through those conversations, through those tough conversations, we all find our way of just finding that reconciliation that happens. And so it's so important to me, so important to the department, so important to the future of policing. So
right. Yes, I'll agree that consciousness. And you know what? We can change consciousness. We can change consciousness. Repetition, we got this way because of repetition of doing it this way. But we can change consciousness. Really we can. And I'm really supporting you in changing the consciousness and actually continuing to build a great police department that's necessary in the world that we live in today. All right.
Thank you.
I want to thank you for being my guest on Mother's Justice Show, Chief. I look forward to seeing you the next time.
Thank you so much. You take care.
You take care too. You listen to the Mother's Justice Show at 11:50 a.m. KKNW. I'll be right back. Thank you.
Join us for Wisdom and Wellness with Reverend Walden, a monthly virtual and in-person healing circle that focuses on community healing and growth. Learn more at virtueshealing.com. That's virtueshealing.com. Also, be sure to join our healing group on Facebook. Again, visit us at virtueshealing.com today.
Hi, this is Eric Ryder, Operations Manager for 1150 AM KKNW. We value your opinion and invite you to 1150kknw.com to fill out the 2023 KKNW Listener Survey. Your responses help us to shape KKNW to your listening needs. As an added incentive, when you fill out the survey, you'll have a chance to win an awesome prize. Complete contest details and your opportunity to help us shape this station can be found at 1150kknw.com.
For more than a century, AM radio has evolved to meet the needs of our community. In their car, at home, or on the job, more than 80 million listeners depend on AM radio each month. AM radio is also the backbone of the emergency alert system, which keeps us safe in dangerous times. It's reliable, free, and public safety depends on it. Text AM to 52886 and tell Congress we need AM radio in cars. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Make us part of your daily routine. Alternative Talk 1150.
Good afternoon. You're listening to the Mother's Justice Show at 11:50 a.m. KKNW. I'm your host, Reverend Walden. It's my joy to be on the air. And just before I bring my next guest on, I want to remind you about the listeners' survey, 2023 listeners survey. Please go to www.1150. I'm sorry, let me start over. Please go to www.1150kknw.com and take the survey. It's very important for the station and for me and for all the listeners and all the shows on the radio to have the survey done. So as added incentive, when you fill out the survey, you'll have a chance to win a round trip passenger for two on the Victoria Clipper to Victoria, BC. I've been there. It's a beautiful city. And plus a $100 gift certificate to the Famous Dave restaurant. Also, check out Mother's podcast. You can send it out. You can let your friends know that it's available on 11:50 a.m. KKNW. So, Mother's has a podcast. I guess I'm in the modern world, you guys. Thank you. I want to bring my next guest on. He was on last week. We were talking about Phillip Randolph, and I want to bring in Gabriel. So, hi, Gabriel. How are you doing? Want to unmute yourself? Hey, how you doing?
Hi, Mother Harriet. I'm
How
doing
you doing?
fine. And yourself? I'm
wonderful.
Good
today. Yeah, I'm good today. You know, hey, Mondays is always good for me because I was self-employed for many years. So a lot of people don't like Mondays, but when you work for yourself, Monday is a good day. So I was never one of those people those persons who say, "Thank God it's Friday," because when you're self-employed, it doesn't matter. You might still have to go do some work. I think I wanted to bring you back on this week because I wanted to have a little bit more time to just talk about Asa, and I was going to look for some quotes for him, but I didn't get a chance to do that. I wanted to just maybe, find some quotes about for some of the things that he said. But I know that something is happening tonight, and I wanted to bring you back on to talk about what's happening tonight, and that type of thing. So you have some opportunity to get more in depth about the work that Phillip Randolph did while he was on the planet. I mean, he did good work, and we just want to talk about that a little bit more. But I didn't get a chance. But I know that one of his quotes was that something about you could at the menu table, at the buffet table, you can only keep what you take, or something like that. I mean, maybe I can get some. Maybe next time I have you on, I'll have all those quotes that he said that was really instrumental. And you think about the time he was organizing. He was organizing during the time of segregation.
Right.
And there was no such thing as an integrated union in those days.
Exactly.
And my grandfather worked on the railroad. He was a red cap in the 1920s down in Florida. On the Atlantic coastline was the name of the train that came through Sanford, Florida. And that was a good job in the 1920s because that meant he had to work. He worked the whole year round. So, but you wanted to see,
that was one of the best jobs back in those days.
Oh yeah, it was a great job. I mean, I think my grandfather's nephew, James Walden, I think he also works on the train on the Atlantic coastline, and so to have a job in the 1920s on the train, I don't know what position my grandfather had, but I probably know he was working in the segregated coach. Yeah, unless he was serving people, he might have been with other people. But just knowing that segregation was the law of the land, I can just surmise that his job was isolated mainly with Negroes at that time, but he had a job and it was a year-round job. So anyway, you want to talk about what's going on for today with APRI here in Seattle?
Yeah. So today we are celebrating Asa's Phillip Randolph birthday. His actual birthday is April 15, which was Saturday. But we usually celebrate it on the day we do our membership meeting, which is the third Monday of the month, and that's today. Right. And we got a special guest that came all the way from North Carolina chapter.
Right.
Daniel Brown, who also has a show Daniel Brown on the ground. And she'll be joining us today. And she's been doing a lot of work, traveling all around the U.S. in different chapters and meeting with members and activists for FPRI around the nation. She also was instrumental in going down and getting our people to vote back in Georgia when people was fighting to see who they can elect that's going to be right for the people. And she was influential in doing some education on the elected officials that were running for office. And I guess we end up getting the right people in office that's going to stand up for democracy in this country.
Well, I know that Ms. Brown was also instrumental in helping us with Legislative Day this year and last year.
That's correct. And we first did our first Zoom Legislative Day. She was instrumental in participating in it and helping out in the process of going through that. And I wanted to share that quote with you that you was asking about.
Okay.
At the banquet table of nation, there are no reserved seats. You get what you can take, and you keep what you can hold. If you can't take anything, you won't get anything. And if you can't hold anything, you won't keep anything. And you can take anything. You can take anything without organization.
Yes, without organization. You know that. I mean, one person can get something going, but you can't keep it going as an individual. That's for sure.
Right.
That's for sure. That really is what life is about. I mean, and even if you lay that aside and just think about the master teacher Jesus Christ, he had disciples with him, so so he can teach them. He can teach them. So that's organizing. We can say that's organizing. He had 12 disciples to go out and carry the gospel. So we see this all along that organizing is key. And the one thing that the people did, what I'm inspired by, what keeps me going, is the amount of intensity that our community, our ancestors had in the 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s and 60s. It kind of waned in the 70s when integration and affirmative action came in, and by the 80s we weren't nearly organizing. That's when evangelicals started organizing in the 80s around when Reagan got to be elected, and they never went home. They took a page out of our page, and I can continuously say they took a page out of our page from us, because we taught the world how to organize for freedom, and then we kind of moved away from that. And then we kind of get out there when it's incidents happening. But one thing about Thurgood and Marshall, they were always organizing, and that's what I've learned. So I like that quote. You can only, yeah.
And then you got to think on the relationship between the civil rights and the labor movement. It's kind of the same fight, because it's about freedom. It's about economic justice. It's about able to live as a human being, and all these aspects of life and the things that I just mentioned is instrumental for the survival of a human being.
Right. And the unions, I mean, during the 50s, 60s, and 70s, I mean, I think the unions was coming around, but they didn't really come around. I mean, I guess look how long it took for Tyree Scott them had to get involved to get people in the trades and shut down things. I mean, there would be a great shutdown in Seattle. They stopped a lot of jobs here. Tyree Scott and a whole bunch of people did, and it took almost 50 years in this state to get more Black people involved in the unions. I mean, so it's been a brick wall that to bring down that wall for people to get good jobs, and it's more here now. What I was impressed by Phillip Randolph is when I went to the first conference. I think it was down in Oakland or San Francisco, and I saw all those Black people. It's like, oh my God, no wonder Rush Limbaugh them was always talking so bad about unions, because you had Black people at the highest level, like Cleola. the highest level of leadership in these unions. So, I mean, you might not have it here in Washington State, but I mean, now you do have a lady that just down at the Washington State Labor Council. But in the other states, I mean, you know, it's like, wow, I see why they talk so bad about unions, because at some of the top of the ladders, you have Black people running these unions. I mean, I'm not saying it correctly, but I mean, they're presidents of these unions, you know?
Yeah, and it took a long time to get there. And almost
is that your chimes that you have?
Yeah, let me turn this down.
yeah.
But the thing is this, right? It took a long time to get there, but we're still far from perfect, right? Because we're still dealing with the racism between the unions,
right,
and the labor movement, you know,
right.
and we still having issue. Sometimes people that look like us has to compromise to be able to get in these positions, and then they hurt the movement instead of helping the movement.
Right. That's right. And you know, we see that across the board. But one of the things I believe that, I mean, this is what I love about the Phillip Randolph Institute and the people that I've met across the country, and the work that your predecessor did, you know, the late Verlene Wilder and other people, I mean, Jones, and all the other people, is that there is really a family feeling and not a competitive feeling. You know, you feel like family when you're involved with this affiliate. It feels like family, and you're not competing. You're not trying to go out and stomp on other union members or that kinds of stuff. But you have an open door for people to come in and to be part of this organization.
You know, that's very interesting thing you just said, because you know, before I became part of the Phillip Randolph as a member, I was fighting racism within my union, right? And it was a frustration day on day to have to deal with that. But when I joined the Phillip Randolph, like you stated earlier, and I was in that room with all these brothers and sisters that look like me, talking all the progressive things that all the movement that we want to move labor to be a better place for all working people, no matter what color or where you come from. You know, that inspired me, that changed my whole thinking, and then it turned me into fight. Instead of fighting, I was organizing, you know, and making things better for everybody in the union, you know, and many union members, even white brothers, acknowledge it and see what my heart and spirit was all about, you know, and some of them changed, but we're still far from perfect, because we're still fighting the same thing that we fought in the past. And it's kind of mind-boggling, because people don't recognize that you hurting the whole movement. You know, you're bringing us back, you know, and it's time for the best thing to do is come together. The best thing to do is work together. The best thing is to unite and form a movement that could push us all forward to make it better for everybody, not just you or your sister or your brother, but for every human being in general.
Well, and that's right. And that's why a lot of this work has to be, it's not so much of the head work, it's to change the hearts and minds of people. Because really, there is really enough. I mean, we've been programmed by the boss that Lonnie used to call him, the boss, programmed to believe that it's not enough, that the pie is shrinking. But the pie is not shrinking, because people are spending money every day on things that they need or not need. What needs to happen is some of the production jobs need to come back to America. That would solve some of the problems. But nobody seems to have the will to bring the jobs home. I mean, because if the jobs came home, number one, one thing about you have to lift people out of poverty, and I think that Phillip realized that. Phillip Randolph, Asa realized that you got to lift people out of poverty, and if you don't have jobs to lift people out of poverty, then the cycle continues. See, and that's why a good union job, it raises the tide for everybody. Is what I realized, because I never was in a union. I mean, I was years ago, but I was self-employed off 25 years or so. But what I noticed about a union job, and you can concur on this, is that when a man is making more money, enough money to sustain his family, or actually to prosper his family, Well, the kids get hard haircuts more regularly. The wife goes out and buys more clothes. I mean, you get better food on the table. I mean, and then you're circulating money in the community. And that's why I do believe that a good job, a good union job, does raise the level of standing for not only that worker, his family, but in the community. You know, you're going to the grocery store, and if you have a religious commitment, then you're tithing more to your church, or to, and also you're dropping money a lot of places, and it's honest legal money.
Yes, and I want to add to that your kids get a decent education.
That's right.
Healthcare, all these different things that come to a good union job.
That's right. A good union
but then
job.
Also, as a person who gets a good union job, you have to understand that there was people before you that make that happen.
That's
so
right.
no, you are responsible to continue the fight. So you need to contribute to the growth and the change to the human race and the people that look like you, that's struggling, suffering, homeless. You are responsible to contribute. And if you're not doing the right thing, all you do is just benefit from the fight of others, but you refuse to do your part, because we all have a part to play.
We all have a part to do. You're right. You're right about that. And you know what? Before COVID, and I go to the bank for, to just get my balance or do something. They say you could do this online. I said, as long as I'm coming in here, you'll have a job. And I don't think people understand that when they do the self-service, self-checkout, I mean, that means that the grocery store don't have to hire enough clerks. I mean, every time you do something, that type of thing. But also, it's so important to understand that a decent job and how necessary it is, and to organize around good pay, because good pay absolutely is necessary. And now what's going to come in is these robots and all of this stuff. These automation, and also this the way that they have this is the artificial intelligence and all of that, and it's just going to create even more people not with jobs. And I'm saying, what kind of society do people want when you got idle people? I mean, you see what's happening now because people are bored. Sometimes they pick up weapons. They're picking up weapons because they're bored, and you don't have a national service program. You don't have anything to help young people collect their thoughts and know that they don't have to be alone. I mean, they're isolated. But also if they had a job, I know we've had some good apprentice programs to bring some of these young people in so they can come in and join this fellowship. See?
That's a great thing you say, because that's the facts. I remember one time I traveled to work in Los Angeles as a longshoreman. On my lunch break, I went to one of the brothers that's from LA ports to lunch. And we was walking, we parked the car and walking, went to the restaurant. And there was this car running. And he looked at it and looked at me and he said, Gabriel, back in the days, I would just jump in that car and drive off with it. But I got a good union job. I can buy my own car. I mean,
yes.
That's the change that there's a way you can change and lower the crime out in the city if you provide jobs for people.
Right.
And that's the bottom line.
That's right. And I believe that, Gabriel, even coming out of slavery, our people never have had. The last time Black people was fully employed was when we were still in bondage. After slavery, it's been sketchy sometimes for Black people just to eat have a meager living. And that's why they used to say a Black man was a jack of all trades, because he had to learn how to do many things in order to feed his family. And then after that, when people moved to the cities, and they got trapped in these cities with no opportunities. They couldn't even grow no collard greens in the sidewalks. I mean, there was no place to grow anything. And compared to living on some acreage where you could grow something, life changed very rapidly for Black people who moving to the north and to big cities. They just didn't have the support that they could have had in smaller places sometimes. See,
one of the things that a lot of Blacks don't know, even union workers, that there was Black union workers that goes way back from the 16 to the 1800 that were organized before. One of the big thing about Phillip Randolph that we talked about, he was the first to be able to open the door for Black workers to be in the part of the AFL-CIO, but not that only. He also was the first to take on a big company that hires Black people. That we will call today the Amazon. That was the sleeping car porters.
Yes. He
took on, and they were the biggest employers of Black back then.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So this is the modern days. That was the modern days Amazon that we got today. That's what they did.
So at every juncture in America, you've had an Amazon or either Walmart that controlled a lot things. Going back to the railroads, I mean, like you're just talking about the railroad, and a lot of those opportunities was not coming to the African American community. And I think wasn't it something about 10,000 George? I mean, it was a movie, something about 10,000
movie 10,000 Men's Named George.
Right. Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. But by organizing, he improved the condition, he improved the wages, and then it expanded even more. And those same porters, those same members of this porters union that Phillip Randolph organized was instrumental in helping labor advance the movement. I tell you one thing, for my union itself, the ILWU, back then when they was in 1934, when they had the big strike, the employers was going to the South and bringing Black to the Bay Area and San Francisco to cross the picket line because the white workers were striking. And there was a great leader, Harry Bridges.
Oh, Harry Bridges.
He recognized that Black life mattered. So he went to the Black neighborhood and he met with C.L. Dellums, who was the vice president of the Sleeping Car Porters Union, one of Phillip Randolph protege. And he talked to C.L. Dellums to help him go to the Black community, go to the Black churches, and reach out to the Black workers and tell them if they stop crossing the picket line, when they win the strike, they will bring them into the union. Because back then, Blacks would not get,
that's right.
Not get part of the union, were not being able to get into the union. And Harry Bridges kept his word. They won the strike. And right now in San Francisco, it's about 80% of Blacks in the union, the ILWU. 80%. Wow. That's the only port that's have that many Black in
Wow. That's awesome. That's awesome. You want to announce what's happening tonight again and the address where people, if the community wanted to come out to the party for ASA?
So it's on at the Labor Temple. The address is 5030 First Avenue South, Seattle, Washington, 98134. And that's again 5030 First Avenue South, Seattle, Washington, 98134. And you can't miss it. It's heading towards the First Avenue Bridge if you're coming from Seattle. If you're coming from South, it's after you get off the First Avenue Bridge, right on First Avenue. And just look for that temple.
And what's the time again?
6 p.m., 6 to 8.
6 to 8. Okay.
And we got a special guest speaker all the way from North Carolina chapter with very involved, and also has a show that comes on every Wednesday.
Well, this is wonderful. I mean, I'm going to do my best to get down there tonight. And I know it's going to be good because it's always good. But also, how can union workers get involved with the APRI here in Seattle? I mean, if they live in King County in Seattle, how can they get involved?
So we want people to show up. We want people that wants to do the work. We don't want people that just want to be numbers and not doing nothing to move the organization. We want people that's going to participate and work. So you can get in touch with us. One of the things that we're doing orientation, so we can make sure that people is interested in doing the work, because this is very important. This is a very important work and role that APRI plays in the movement, and it's the connection between labor and the community. And we can do a lot. It's a lot. In fact, it's a lot of work for every organization to do. Everybody needs to do their part.
But also, I mean, I know one of the things you do. There's the Juneteenth event that's been going on for a while, even before it was a state holiday. That's been going on for a while. You do the turkey drops. I mean, and I know you give food out for turkey. I mean, for Thanksgiving and Christmas. And then there's other things that happens. And then there's a conference that's coming up in August. Is that right?
That's correct. August 9th to the 13th, we're having our conference in Reno, Nevada. And it's going to be out of this. I mean, this is just, when we go to the conference, it's like rejuvenation. Rejuvenate you to come out and do the work, because you get to meet all these great leaders from around the nation that's doing the work, right? And then we come together and we share a lot of information, and then we have our young people. That's the next thing, our young adults that are very involved as well and participate in these conferences, and they doing work all around, and thank you for mentioning Juneteenth. Juneteenth, we'd like people to join us also into Juneteenth. It's going to be the 19th, Monday the 19th, and our Juneteenth event is going to be on the waterfront. Every year we celebrate Juneteenth, the community celebrate Juneteenth, but this is the first time that labor has joined together with APRI and other organizational unions to do this. This is a labor-led Juneteenth.
Oh, okay. That's new. I mean, like you say, first time, and that's new.
Yeah, and this is our fourth year in doing it. This is our fourth year. We did it in 2020, 21, 22. And now we're 23. This is our fourth year we have done it. And we are working in collaboration with many other unions and organizations that have been working on it. And I believe we started it right after George Floyd was killed. We call a big meeting in our union, and our union is partnered with APRI. So we put this together, and we did it here and in the Bay Area, and we're planning to do it again.
Well, that would be wonderful, because again, with the climate in America right now, Black people need to understand what organizing and staying together means in terms of your own safety. In terms of having passed some of these laws or push back some of these laws that they're trying to hold back the tide of the door that they want to open. I mean, they act like, people think that it's for, it's POC and other people, but really it is, we're the ones who are in the Constitution. We're in the Constitution. Other people are not in the Constitution. So this is really important, and I'm glad that the unions are, I'm glad that Phillip Randolph is going to be in part of that, and you might need to send some people to Florida to help with what's going on in Florida down there and those type of things. So
yes, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say we got about 1 minute left, and I was just going to say if you want to announce where the event is tonight one more time before we finish the show,
so
be good.
It's going to be at 5030 First Avenue South, Seattle, Washington, 98134, and that's at the Labor Temple.
Right.
MLK Labor Temple. You can Google it. You can just write down the address, 5030 First Avenue South, Seattle, Washington, 98134. Come join us. Come share the love with us. Come learn about Phillip Randolph, and come build a movement that continues to grow and go since 1965 when this Phillip Randolph Institute was started.
Right.
And we're still going strong.
Still going strong. All right. Well, Gabriel, thank you for being my guest today. And I'm going to see what I can do to get there tonight. And I know it's going to be a good event. So take care. And thank you for being on Mother's Justice Show. Okay.
We will be happy to have you there. It's going to be a special day even for you.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Thank you. Hey, you listen to the Mother's Justice Show on 1150 AM KKNW. I'm your host from Walden. And thank you for listening. And I'll be back next week. Take care. Have a great week. Okay. Stay dry. Go see the flowers. Do something beautiful. Thank you. Mm-hmm.